All right, everybody, here we go. Welcome, everybody, to episode 90 of Sports Cards Live. It's Saturday, April the 3rd. My name is Jeremy Lee, and we have a great episode in store for you this evening. But before we get to it, I want to thank last Saturday's guest, Billy Celio, product manager at Upper Deck. And on After Hours, we had a very passionate and high-end collector, Dave McFadden, join. Awesome episodes. Check those out. They live on the YouTube channel. Next Saturday, my guest right here will be none other than Ken Golden of Golden Auctions. He is confirmed and ready to go. Another great episode coming your way next Saturday with Ken. I want to welcome all new viewers to the show, to the channel. If you're new, please hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Greatly appreciate. I want to welcome all the regulars back. We are closing in on 2,600 subscribers on the YouTube channel. Thanks to each and every one of you. I want to shout out my friends at the Big Three Hockey on Instagram. These guys are awesome. Check them out. Give them a follow on Instagram. Their address is on the ticker as we speak. I want to shout out the podcast listeners. I appreciate each and every one of you. Very, very awesome. Keep on listening. Later tonight, after the episode with Tim Getsch of COMC, we will be having the After Hours show. My guest will be Milan Obradovic, also known as Kobe East Coast on Instagram. Gonna have a nice, relaxing collector conversation. Okay, we are now going to bring out tonight's guest, Tim Getsch. There he is. Tim, founder and CEO of COMC. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to Sports Cards Live, Tim. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Today's been a good day.
Okay, that's good to hear, man. That's good to hear. Before we get started, though, we are going to pay a special tribute. We're going to pay a special tribute. Unfortunately, the mother of a good friend of mine, Barry Ma, he's my friend. He's even happens to be the gentleman who runs the COMC Canada office. His mother passed away on March the 18th. Mi Woon Ma. We're going to just bring up her picture as a tribute. We're going to dedicate this episode of Sports Cards Live to Barry's mother, Mi Woon Ma. You know, that's about all I can say. It's my heart goes out to him and his family. I know she was much loved, and we just bless her memory as you know, into the future and the family. Okay.
On that note, I do want to say Barry definitely is part of our family. He's been with us for nearly a decade now, and I saw how important his mom was to him and how much he poured into his family. So it was a loss for the whole extended family as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And Barry, you know, I've been friends with Barry for, I don't know, maybe close to 10 years myself. He's a regular fixture at the Expo. He's been on the show with me in the past, a really nice guy. You know, when I saw that his mother passed away and how sad he was, my heart went out to him and his family. He reached out to me, and I you know, wanted to do this tribute for him and his family. Okay, on with the show. Tim.
Yes.
There's lots going on in the world of COMC right now. Lots of talk on the interwebs, if you will.
Yes.
So we're gonna ask the tough questions tonight. We're gonna get into some things. You've agreed to pull the curtain back and just, you know, explain what's been going on at COMC. Nobody really knows what's going on at COMC except for the people behind those four walls, and probably no one knows better than you do. But I want to know what sort of pressure are you under right now, and how are you keeping your cool?
Definitely this year has been very challenging, but ultimately I have to do the best that I can. So I don't really have the luxury to let things get to me too much. And like, I don't have an out. I'm the sole owner of the company. I don't have people that are going to swoop in and save me if I screw up. I have to really stay on top of my game as much as possible. So I'm trying to get rest. Like, I put in as many hours as I possibly can, but there's a certain point where there's diminishing returns, and just trying to stay healthy and make good decisions.
All right. Okay. Well, I think it's important that you do have a little bit of balance in your life. And I don't know how much sympathy the audience is going to have for you when it comes to some of that. So they'd probably like to see you working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But as you said, diminishing returns would kick in for sure. And you do need to keep your head straight, your body straight in order to, provide the guidance and continue to evolve the business, because it's not just for yourself. You've got employees, you've got customers, and there's a whole infrastructure there that counts on you. So I think that's important. Let's just say hello to a few of the people that we have here, like I always do, and then we're going to get into some storytelling. I want to say hello. We got Chris Carter in the house. Chris, good evening. Welcome to the show. We've got Chi-Town Hustler. We've got Card Canucks with us. Good evening, Card Canucks. That is Charles. We've got Bobby Baseball, Jeremy Pringle in the house. Good evening, Jeremy Pringle. We got Hockey Guy 2006. We've got Terry Fortune. We got Rocco Rosado here. He's ready to check out Sports Cars Live for a deep dive with COMC. Yeah. We got Sanderson Taor in the house. We got everybody. We got lots of people. The viewership is already climbing. Tim, a lot of people here to see. There's a lot of new viewers. I think I do want to, thank you for attracting all these new viewers to my channel, to the show. I'm proud of the show. I bring on the best guests in the hobby. And if you're not yet subscribed, and if you haven't seen the archive of episodes that are on the Sports Cars Live channel, please check it out and hit that subscribe button. And I also want to say to everybody, this is going to be a fun one. Hit the thumbs up button too. If you like the episode, hit the thumbs up button. If you don't like the episode, hit that thumbs up button. All right. All right. We got C. Eddie B. We got Nathan Woodward here. We got Bobby Burrell in the house. Welcome to the show, Bobby. Jake from 90s B-Ball Cards is here with us. We got Dave Archbell. All right. We got Lee Haskins. Wants to thank Tim for taking the time to talk and take the questions. Shane Howley is in the house. Good evening, Shane. Jordan Hagedorn, welcome to the show. The Dingo Dude is in the house. All right. I can't get to everybody, but thank you all for joining us tonight. Tim.
Yes.
Tell us what's been going on at COMC for the last year. I think it's important that you lay it out for everybody. I really want people to understand, peek behind the curtain, what's been going on since, let's say, January of 2020, right before the Kobe Bryant tragedy, prior to The Last Dance coming out, and of course, prior to the pandemic. I'll let you take it from there and tell the story.
Sounds good. Thank you. So I'm going to take a little bit of time to walk through the timeline. I think it's important to get context with everything that's happened. Obviously, there's major events that people are aware of, but the nuances of how things affected COMC, you probably aren't aware of. So going back to January, even before Kobe passed away, before COVID started, we knew that the industry was growing. National, the summer before, I had seen more new people in the hobby. I saw every age range at the National. I sat down with Sports Card Investor and other people that were new, up and coming people in the industry, and I knew that stuff was changing. The decade prior, we had been growing at about 20 to 30% a year. So we, over the decade, we 10x'd. That I've always said was a healthy growth pace for COMC. We rely very much on people to manually handle all of these cards. The world doesn't have robots with the dexterity necessary to handle cards yet. So if we're going to handle millions of cards, we need humans that actually can handle those millions of cards. And it's challenging to hire and train all those people. So 20 to 30% growth is a nice, healthy growth pace. We predicted we'd probably see 50% growth. We saw an increase, but we're thinking 2020, we'll see maybe about 50% growth. And so the year before, in 2019, we're actually analyzing everything we did at the company, looking for ways that we can set ourselves up for growth. And one of the ideas that we were seeing is maybe we should have a smaller number of job disciplines and then just plan to hire a bunch of people that can do those very specific job disciplines, or I should say the multi-purpose job disciplines. So we'd have like people that process cards, that know trading cards really, really well. Process is what we refer to as cards coming in versus shipping cards going out. We would have this new card generalist position, which is people that don't know trading cards, but are helpful in processing the stuff coming in. And then we'd have fulfillment team members that handle things going out. So those are the three main jobs that we were trying to gear towards. In the process, we had a number of people at the company that didn't quite fit that profile. And so we actually had a layoff going into 2020. We let go of about 15 people going into 2020, which when COVID hit, we thought, oh, whew, maybe that was a blessing in disguise, because we have no idea what's going to happen right now. And every industry saw a dip when COVID started. So we're like, oh man, we're running lean right now going into COVID. We'll see what happens. And then The Last Dance hit, and everything started to skyrocket. The leagues all the leagues had canceled. So we didn't really see what skyrocketing meant until basketball picked up. When basketball was just about to start, we saw all of our sales look like they were going to double overnight. In fact, we were seeing like 20 to 30% growth week over week when basketball picked up. At that time, we were all through there. We had different COVID restrictions. So at certain points, in Washington State, we were told we can't have more than 10 people in a building. So we had to have everybody that could stay home. And then we had to do multiple shifts so that we could have maybe 20 people in the building in a day, but no more than 10 at a time. And actually, you mentioned our four walls. We have multiple buildings, so there's many more than four walls. But so we had to juggle that with all of our different buildings. And so I'll take a little detour back. When COVID hit, it really hit our shipping department like harder than any other part of the company. We ended up with many of our long-term employees not able to work, and shipping, that's one of the things. You can't go home and help with shipping. Like, we have to actually have you in the building touching the cards in order to ship. So there were a whole bunch of employees that couldn't work, either people that had family members that were elderly or immunocompromised, or they themselves were. So our whole management staff and a whole bunch of employees were not able to be physically in the building. And then we had to hire, because now we're seeing all these growth trends and we need more people to actually fill the orders. So we, in COVID, it was really hard to find people that were willing to even take on a new job. Sure, a lot of people lost jobs, but most people were just waiting because they didn't want to go out in public, and they were concerned about stuff. So it was really hard to find people that were willing to work. So we were struggling with finding people, and even then we'd find people, but then they'd realize, I don't feel comfortable working with COVID, and some of them didn't last, or they didn't cut it. So it was a challenge. And we're training people with a limited staff. We only had a few senior people left to even help with training. So that was really, really complicated, and started building up our backlog in shipping. Then basketball started, and we started to see that we were going to double. The growth was beyond what we had predicted. It wasn't going to be a 50% growth. We're going to at least double in 2020. So I realized we can't grow with the buildings that we had, with the COVID restrictions, keeping people socially distant, like we just can't physically put enough people in the building to keep up with the demand. We had already been looking for more space because both of our main offices in Washington State were running low on space. And so we just needed more room for inventory and for people to work. So with that crazy growth trajectory, I decided to swing for the fences. And in August, we made an offer on a very, very strong offer to purchase a 250,000 square foot building. I talked to the selling agent, and it was a very compelling offer. Unfortunately, they were already working with a developer that had been trying to acquire the building for several months. So they decided to stick with that developer, but we really liked the building. So we decided, let's try to lease from this guy who's going to buy the building. And so we pursued that for the next couple of months. But the goal was in October, we would be moving into that building. And that would give us all the room we needed to hire as many people. Everybody could be super socially distant. We could have ample space to train and employ hundreds and hundreds of people. Well, October became November. It didn't look like, because of the complexity of this massive building, exchanging ownership and us trying to sign a lease, actually trying to move into the building before the ownership had even changed officially yet. The deal just got too complicated, and our need for space was like, we couldn't wait any longer. So we had to bail on that deal and pursue another building. Fortunately, the building that I'm actually in right now, which if you follow us on Instagram, the other day you saw a picture of, that this building became available. Like it was like a week it had been on the market, and I jumped on this building. It's 200,000 square feet, so not quite as big as the other one, but it's actually easier for us to use because it's more just like a big box. It didn't have all the nooks and crannies and weird combinations of offices and warehouses that the other building had. This one is easier for us to work with. So we were able to quickly sign the lease on this building. We were hoping to be able to move in January. Everything would have had to come together perfectly, which even outside of a pandemic, nothing on this scale goes together perfectly. But when you add things like, in order for us to have people work here, we need internet. And in order to install internet, they needed to get permits from the city. And the city wasn't, like, their backlog on permits was a mile long. And so, like right now, this video is over a wireless connection we have. We're still waiting for our official fiber internet. It's taking, what they said would be like 2 or 3 months is looking more like 6 to 8 months to get the fiber installed. So right now we have capacity, at least on the internet side, for a little over 100 people to work out of this building. And we've had already 100 people work, not all at one time, but we've had 100 different people work out of this building. The building is enormous. It's going to give us room to meet all of our needs. For context, it's not super obvious in the picture that we issued, but you can fit 2 entire football fields, including the end zones, inside this building. So if you go to a football game, or even, I know the Canadian football field is a little longer. Like it's that big. Like even that, you can fit 2 of those. Like you look at that pitch. You go to a soccer game. Like look at that pitch. You can get 2 of those in this building. So we have now ample room. That said, that the building was not even an option for us to start having employees work out of until March 1st or March 2nd. So we ended up having a big hiring push, again, because our backlogs have been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So we had a big hiring push, because you can't just snap your fingers and hire a ton of people. So we had turned the pipeline on to bring on all these new people, thinking in February we're going to have this building. But as I just said, we didn't get we couldn't even have people work out of the building until March. So those people showed up to work at our old building.
Sorry, how many people?
We had in February we had 50 new people join our shipping team. 50. Well, 50, and they worked out of our previous facility, which we still have. We're winding down and starting to move stuff out of that facility and bringing it over. But when all those people came in, they helped us retrieve all these cards. And actually, I'm going to take a little detour here. So most people don't know how we prepare orders. It's not, we don't prepare orders one at a time. For context, right now, we have more than 25,000 rushed orders that are waiting to go out. That's how many people have paid a premium to rush their orders. Those orders have on average 10 items. So over 250,000 cards, people have said, rush this and get it out. We typically will go through our warehouse and retrieve in an efficient manner enough for, say, 2,000 or 3,000 orders at a time. So we'll take the oldest rushed orders, get 2,000 or 3,000 of those, and we'll go get all those items. But then we have to sort them into the individual orders, right? So we grab them all together, and we'll typically get 2,000 or 3,000 is 20,000 to 30,000 cards that we're gathering together, and then we have to separate those into thousands of orders. So we get all these new people in, and they help us get all those cards. But the building has a small area where we funnel all the cards that need to get sorted and put into packages and get shipped out. So that became now a new traffic jam. And we went from one day a new employee being told this shelf means the order is ready to ship. And then the next day we have overflow that flows into that shelf that's not ready to ship. And we don't put the proper label on it, and someone just grabs it and starts shipping it out. So we've had a few customers get a part of their order. It wasn't ready to go. And they call us up and I'm missing all the top loaded cards in my order, right? So there's some stuff like that happened. And we also, I mentioned we have multiple buildings. So one of our buildings didn't have enough resources. It didn't get those 50 extra people. So they were behind. So we get all these orders in, and we're trying to sort things into the individual orders, and we don't have anything from the other building. So now all of our machines that our workstations for sorting things into orders they're locked up. Everything is locked up. We can't go any further because the other building doesn't have enough people to keep up with what we just did here. And so then they said, okay, well, we have other high priority rushed orders that we can work on. So let's just put all that on ice and come back to it later. Well, we've never put anything like that on ice. And what happened is those orders got shuffled. Everything that we expected to be in a very specific order completely jumbled. Thousands of orders, tens of thousands of cards that we then had to figure out where they belong, right? And if you've ordered from us before, you get a card, there's no, well, some cards have barcodes on it, but most cards don't have a barcode on it. Those cards didn't have barcodes on them. So we didn't have an easy way to like say, oh, which order they belong to. We were heavily dependent on the exact order that we retrieved the items. So that was a very painful mistake. And that was a growing pain of trying to grow too fast. And it was actually when I saw what happened there, because I saw every week we were increasing capacity week after week. Every time we would add more resources, they would ship more orders out. And then all of a sudden, our shipments dropped. Even though we put all these people in, we got less orders out. So I went to that building to see what was happening. And I sat down with them and I tried to figure out how do we make sense of this. And that's when I said, you know what? That other building isn't ready, but we don't have any room here to get anything done. So we need to bring that building on immediately. We had some internet. It wasn't ideal. We didn't have a security system yet. So we just said immediately we're doing 24/7 shifts, and we got people to volunteer to work through the night. And we've done that ever since then. We have now we have a security system in place, but we had to just have like 5 or 6 people 24/7 working in this new building. And then we have unlimited space here. So they spread everything out and tried to make sense of the stuff that got shuffled. And unfortunately, they're still working on some of those orders. And that's why so many orders from January, February got locked up and didn't get shipped out. And then right now, we're in the process of moving all of our inventory to this building so that we can simplify shipping, so that shipping doesn't have to wait for stuff from multiple different buildings. And so we're able to move about 250,000 cards a day. We take multiple truckloads between the buildings to bring the inventory. And if you look on the website, you know we have 25 million cards actively for sale. And we have a lot more that are not up for sale. And all of those are in the process of getting moved to our new facility. So that slows things down too. Yeah.
Can you hold that thought? I want to interject for a minute. I want to, before we get too far ahead, I want to say a few things and kind of probe a few of the things you've said already.
Yep.
First thing I want to let the audience know, we've got very strong viewership right now. Over a couple hundred comments are coming in. I haven't seen any of them since the beginning of the show, and I'm just not going to be looking at them until we open up Q&A, probably at the 90-minute mark or so. So I just want everybody to realize that. The next thing, and I thank you all for, okay, I see I've left the comment up from the very beginning of the show since, how do I get rid of that? Okay, there we go. So I wanted to put that out there. Couple of things you've talked about, Tim. Yeah. The new building that you're in right now. You know, a lot of people are going to say, "Okay, great, you have a new building. When is that going to help me as a customer?" Can you just, you know, sort of in a sort of quickly just address what, you know? I don't want you to say things and then, you know, because you're going to be held to them. That's the way it works, right? So, reasonably speaking, with this new building, when do you see things turning around, if you will?
Yeah. It's probably going to take us this entire year to get somewhere near what we had in 2019.
Okay, well, that's realistic, and maybe that's even, you know, a situation where you're under promising and can over deliver. I think that's a good strategy. But I just wanted you to answer that one. Second one is, you mentioned your process. You can pick 3,000 orders, or you go out to pick 3,000 orders at a time. It can be 30,000 cards, and the cards come in and then they get sorted. Is there a flaw in that process? Is that process as good as it can be?
That is an excellent question. Absolutely good question. And that system worked when 90% of the people doing it had been at the company for more than a year. Okay. It was working fine. It worked fine for a decade. Unfortunately, now 90% of the people have only been at the company a couple months because we've been growing so fast. So
what happened?
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
No, you finish, and then I'll jump in.
I was going to say that is why you're starting to see changes in how we ship orders.
Okay.
And that's why now every card getting shipped out has a barcode associated with it. And the barcode gives us a lot more scalability than relying on seasoned employees that know our systems. Yeah.
Okay. So the staffing issue. You mentioned earlier tonight that at the beginning of 2020, you let go of, I think you said 15 people or so. Can you speak to why they were let go? Was it to run leaner, or were they underperforming, or what?
It was, the main reason was because we wanted to have a fewer number of job descriptions. We had previously had like 7 different like stages. And so people worked in a very specific stage. And so we thought, okay, if we have people that can just do a variety of things, then we only need to hire for those specific jobs. That'll be easier for us to kind of manage going forward. And so there's some people at the company that we just didn't feel could do a variety of things. They could do their narrow thing well, but we didn't want to ask them to do a whole bunch of other things. We had no idea COVID was coming. We had no idea the growth was coming. We were just thinking, okay, in order for us to scale the company consistently, because we knew we were going to go to like 50% growth, we thought, okay, instead of having to hire for 7 different jobs, we only want to hire for 2 or 3 different jobs. And then we just have that main thing that we do over and over again.
A lot of people have said, quit whining about COVID. Not to you, to all the companies in the industry. Quit whining about COVID. The excuse is over. You've had a year to figure it out. You've had 6 months to figure it out. Can you respond to that?
I mean, our challenge is COVID is just one of them. COVID is just something that makes it even more difficult. We're also seeing the fastest growth we've ever seen. Okay, maybe the very, very first year when we were super, super tiny, when we were nothing, we had more growth than this. But this, I didn't even mention, we were expecting 50% growth. We got 150% growth. From the beginning of COVID, when we had 100 people, to now, a year later, we have 250 employees. We grew by 150%. So the growth is another just normal pain. And then you're also seeing some challenges we're running into now with supply chains. And we're having to juggle, like we've purchased every top loader we can get by the case. Like you might be able to find a pack of top loaders right at your card shop, but they don't have cases for sale. Or if they do, they're charging like 50 cents a top loader or something like that. And so like anything that's even beyond, we've been paying like 30 cents a top loader to buy top loaders right now. And so we're waiting for more supply to come on the market. So that's another challenge that we're having to face. Just COVID is just one of many, many challenges that we're facing right now. But I mean, you end up with way more people calling out sick than you do normally because they have to. Like we had just this past, transparency, we had one person test positive for COVID last week. So we had everybody that had any contact with that person had to sit out for a week to see if they got COVID. We had at least 10 people this week have to sit out, whether they had symptoms or not, because we had to wait because of contact tracing. And this is just like, you're just getting hit with these things you don't normally have to deal with. And sometimes those are strategic people. It's not just like someone you can replace. It's like, oh, that person was doing a project and now that's affecting a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's like, it is more difficult. And the way that we're trying to counterbalance that is to have more people at the company. And we've done that. We've grown from 100 to 250 people, but the market has outpaced that. The demand for our services have outpaced that. And so like, that's still not enough. Yeah.
No, I get it. And I asked because, I've seen the comment within the hobby over the last few months from several people who just make that simple comment, enough of the COVID excuses. But I just don't know that some people appreciate just how pervasive COVID impacts the business and the ability to scale and operate even at previous levels.
Yeah. And COVID is actually the reason why the supply chains are all broken right now. So it's not just like our challenges with COVID, but like the whole industry is facing these, or not just our industry, like everything is affected by it.
Yeah. Okay, so if we can go back to where I kind of interjected and pick up where you left off back then, if you remember where that was, do you?
Yeah, I think I was talking just about kind of where things are right now with the building. Right now, we've had about 100 people that have worked out of this building. The building should have capacity for as many as about 400 people to work out of here. So that's going to give us the room to grow in the future. So we're not going to be limited to the buildings that we had before. This building is 8 times bigger than the one that we were using as our main storage facility. We also are keeping our main headquarters, the address that everybody has been shipping their cards to, we're keeping that. So that's staying. It's just the building that we were shipping out of. We're winding that down later this year. We're going to have it completely emptied. So we're bringing all the inventory over, which is slowing things down right now because those people would have normally been helping out with shipping. Instead, we've got, say, 10 or 15 people just preparing truckloads of inventory to get moved and then properly assigning it to new locations when it gets here. So that whole challenge it's not just the labor. There's also challenges of when we make an efficient route through our warehouse to go get all the orders, if we move something to another building, all of a sudden we try to go get something from that shelf, but that shelf doesn't exist anymore. That shelf has been moved. So if an order includes something that's on that shelf, that order is going to get hung up because we couldn't get that item because it was in transit. And then we've actually just made changes in the past week to handle that scenario more gracefully. And so those orders will only get delayed by like 2 days instead of before your order might just go into purgatory. And it's like whenever we finally get a chance to go catch up on those orders, we'll get those last remaining items. So now we have systems in place to catch those things. And within like a couple extra days, we'll be able to go find where those items are in the new building. So that unfortunately is just adding extra complexity to our whole system right now. So some of those add to the pains that we're already going through with the growth. I mean, we posted on our homepage, or actually not just the homepage, the banner at the top of our site. We've seen a 50% growth in sales since January 1st. Like, we were behind before January came up. And then all of a sudden, now we have this like massive growth, which is, again, when we saw that, that's why we did the whole big hiring push and everything else. So right now, you add the growth, new employees, needing to train those people, new building, needing to move inventory, which, I mean, if we had an existing like seasoned staff, doing a move is adding a lot of complexity. But we have over 100 people now in our fulfillment department. Before COVID, our entire company was 100 people. So just in fulfillment, we have 100 people, which means more than 90% of those are new. Like those people haven't been at the company a year. In fact, it's like 75 employees have only joined the company since January. So they're really, really, really new.
Yeah.
And they're learning not just some challenging things because we're moving. they're in a new building, we're doing things a new way, everything is changing, but we have to make some of those adaptations because the old systems relied so much on having a base of seasoned employees.
Right.
We don't have that base of seasoned employees, so now we have to make some significant improvements. And on that note, it's not just the new building that we're investing in. In fact, this week we're getting a piece of automation that is costing us about $1 million. It's going to take a week to install, and starting, say, a week and a half, 2 weeks from now, we're going to actually have that be part of how we sort cards into individual orders. So you mentioned, like, is that a problem? Like, going from tens of thousands of cards into 3,000 orders, is there a flaw in the system? Yes, the system was not designed for the scale that we've seen. And so we're changing the design so that it is able to handle it. So we're getting this piece of automation installed in the next week or so. That's going to then, it's kind of like the equivalent of hiring 5 employees that never make any mistakes and can work 24/7, right? Okay. So that's going to be in this critical step of sorting the cards into the individual orders. And so that's going to be a game changer for us, and that's going to be key to helping us scale to meet the demand. But right now we haven't actually used the machine yet, so I can't make solid predictions as to how rapidly that's going to change things. But that's a piece of making things, and actually that's part of why we had to put barcodes on everything as well, because the machine's going to read those barcodes to figure out what order everything belongs to.
Okay. That's okay. We're going to just take sort of a little pause here. You know, I just want to mention, I appreciate your transparency. You have been pulling back the curtain. You've mentioned a lot of things going on, and, you know, again, the comments are racking in. I'm not reading them, but I know that some people are hearing what you're saying, and for some people the light's going off and they might be understanding a little bit, but several people are still saying, all right, excuse, you know. But I want to thank you on behalf of the people that are maybe, you know, appreciating that you're here talking to us in the first place. I think that's you know, thank you for that. On that note, we're gonna go off in a little bit of a different direction. On that note, why is it that it took you until April the 3rd to address the hobby in this way and to kind of you know, explain what's been going on? What took so long?
I actually would have loved to talk more candidly earlier. I've been very heads down on all of these different projects, whether it's getting the building, getting the software, but there were a lot of unknowns all the way. Like I just mentioned this piece of automation, like that was many months in the making. So if I would have said anything earlier to you guys, it would have been more speculation of like, oh, there's this thing coming in the future. And even now it's like, okay, next week it's getting installed. We have to use it.
Yeah.
So before I would have said, oh, we're getting a building. Well, now we have the building. So anything I would have said earlier would have been speculation about, oh, like stuff that's coming. And actually on that note, this wasn't a public conversation, but I did have a conversation specifically with Pat Nishak, who was very vocal last fall, and explaining the growth pains that we were feeling and the plans that I had. And I unfortunately told him that we were going to have that 250,000 square foot building that fell through. So any previous conversations, they would have been sprinkled with that. And you guys would have been pissed at me for saying those things were going to happen. And I would have tried to peel the curtain back and say, this is what I'm doing. And then something else happened. So you're getting now something like we're in this building. Yeah. The lease is signed. We're here. We're moving inventory here. That's underway. The company that's installing the automation, the everything is getting shipped. It's on its way here. They're installing it next week. We're right now writing the code that's going to automate that machine. So those are real tangible things that I can stand behind and say, this is what we're doing. Okay. There are other things that are even further beyond that we're not ready to talk about. But that's I guess the benefit of waiting till now is you get more real data instead of just, this is what's in the pipeline.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I mean, I think some people will be satisfied with that, and some people will probably be sitting and watching the show right now thinking to themselves, okay, great, but maybe you could have come forward and just addressed the shipping issues or just something. And I don't know what you would have said. I'm not saying you should have. I don't know. But do you want to respond to that at all?
Definitely, we have not done a good job of setting accurate expectations on how long things should take. And I will definitely own that. That is something that we're actually making an active effort to address right now. We are planning on making, and I'm sure you've seen in the industry, everybody, PSA, SGC, Beckett, everybody's changing their services. And we are going to make services that we can stand behind, that we can say, hey, like, for example, just full transparency again, we're receiving well over 200,000 submissions to be consigned with us, 200,000 cards every week. That's beyond our current capacity. And so there's a lot of stuff that's being sent in for the 3-week service that we're not going to be able to honor that 3-week service. We haven't always been perfect on that, for sure. There's been times where we've fallen behind, and we have a guarantee on that. If we miss deadlines, we give people some discounts. But right now, they're beyond capacity. So we're going to be making some changes so that we can actually stand behind the services. And another thing, again, Easter egg for those of you that are paying attention, we are going to be offering some services that actually allow you to help us. So you can actually do some extra work with how you submit things to us so that we can handle them a lot faster for you. So you're going to want to pay attention as we do some blog posts in the near future that will kind of give you the ability to drastically speed up our ability to process certain types of submissions for you.
Okay, well, that's an encouraging development. Okay, you mentioned the $1 million piece of processing or sorting or picking equipment. $1 million is a lot of money. There's been some speculation that COMC might be in financial difficulty. And I think people that have a lot of cards with you, maybe there could be some fear there as well. Let's just hit that one for a second and talk about how comfortable are you and is COMC from a financial perspective right now? How much runway do you have? How well capitalized are you? Please.
Yeah, this actually has been by far our best year ever. It's been challenging for me because I'm not in this for the money. And our mission is to bring joy to people, to optimize enjoyment, maximize what you care about, minimize what you don't.
Let me just jump in right there, because I know people in the audience right now are saying that's not happening right now.
I know, that's my point. That's okay. My point exactly. This year has killed me because we have failed in that effort more than any year before. On the other side, we're way more profitable than we've ever been in history. So our cash flow is not a problem. It's been our ability to utilize that to actually give people joy. So it's not like the reason we're behind, the reason that we haven't been able to give people a stellar experience is not because we haven't had the money. It's because we haven't been able to utilize the money to actually get the results that we need. A great example, hiring 50 people at once caused us to slow down shipping. There's a certain point where you have to be very strategic with getting things out. So we're making the investments to be able to scale to give people a good experience. But right now, we haven't been doing that. So on the financial side, COMC has never been in a better standing. And it makes sense. Like, look at our services. We're charging people twice as much as we did before. We're making way more money than we did before. And I'm using that money to invest in everything I can to bring joy back to you guys, because that's all I care about. I've told everybody here, like, I don't care about a dime. I just want to make sure that customers get a good experience. Unfortunately, right now, there's so many customers, we can't scale to meet that. And it's not a dollars thing. It's like, it takes time to get the systems in place, the automation, the software, the training, get everything in place to give people a good experience.
Okay, let me ask you this. What were you working on today, and what are you working on tomorrow? What is Tim's top priority tomorrow? Well, okay, so tomorrow's Sunday. What's your top priority Sunday, Monday?
Tomorrow I'm working all day. I have a number of features I just talked about that are regarding some new services that we're offering. I just told you we're going to do something that allows people to do a bunch of the work so that it's easier on us. That feature I'm writing this weekend.
Why aren't you picking cards? Why aren't you picking cards and shipping cards? No, because I've seen people make comments like, quit posting the new building, go ship me my cards. I've seen the comment that goes something like this. How hard is it to pick my 30 cards out of a box? I mean, I think you've addressed that one. But people don't want you writing code for later. People want you shipping them their cards.
So if I ship cards, there's 100 people. Maybe I can get 1% more orders out. If I build a feature so that you guys can do work for our processing team has 100 people. If I only need 60 of them, I can take 40 of those people and have them help out with shipping, which is a 40% increase in shipping. So I'm being strategic with my time so that I can actually give you a better experience. So I'm enabling things. Well, it might be like, why are you working on processing? Well, if processing doesn't need as many people, then I can use those people to help out with shipping.
Okay.
And that's actually a big focus. We're looking at all of our different services, and we're simplifying our services so that they're things that we can stand behind. And there are a few different services that we're getting rid of, just so that we can take those people and then repurpose them to help get orders out the door. Yeah, we're definitely, like, you'll see in the services that we come up with, it's very clear we are de-emphasizing processing so that we can put more effort into shipping.
Yeah. Okay. Now I think it's more important from my perspective, and the 400 plus comments that have come through. I again haven't seen them, but I'm guessing 60% of them are about where the heck are my cards, just from what I've seen on social media. Okay, let's move. Unless you have, we started this with what's been going on since January. Is there anything else you wanna mention there before I get on to the next important topic?
No, I think we're ready for the next topic.
Okay. All right. So you guys sell cards on the COMC platform. You also sell cards on eBay.
Yep.
Lots of people are wondering, how are you able to ship cards that are sold on eBay quicker than you can ship cards that are sold on your own platform? And I think some of them feel a little bit, alienated because their purchases are being ignored in favor of those on eBay, because I'm sure you have eBay requirements to meet in order to use their platform. Mm-hmm. But I've seen comments like, if you can do it there, you can do it here, that kind of thing. You've explained the whole shipping thing, but can you explain or just speak to the priority that you guys place on eBay purchases versus COMC's, the COMC platform's purchases?
So just to be clear, we consider an eBay order like a COMC rushed order. So if people are looking and saying, well, on eBay, you don't charge anything extra for shipping, and on COMC, it takes 6 months to get shipping. Those are two totally different services. The economy shipping is not offered on eBay. We actually take that extra fee that we charge for rushed shipping, and we charge that on eBay. So that's built into the eBay price. That's why the price on eBay is more expensive than it is on COMC. So in an ideal world, all rushed orders are treated the same. Unfortunately, there's been times where we're so far behind that we have a choice between missing eBay deadlines and potentially getting kicked off of eBay, or taking 2 weeks to do rushed orders on COMC and 1 week to do rushed orders on eBay. At the moment, they're both 3 weeks.
Okay.
Literally, rushed orders on COMC and on eBay are set at 3 weeks.
Are they going out in 3 weeks currently?
Right now, they are going out in 3 weeks. There's one exception on eBay, and that's auctions. Auctions are treated like express orders, and so we get auctions out faster. And auctions, they're a different ballgame because we don't offer auctions on COMC. If you want to do an auction, you have to do it on eBay. And if we say auctions take 3 weeks, then the person that's putting something at auction potentially is going to leave some opportunity on the table. Like, people won't bid on it knowing that it's going to take so long for delivery. So we make an exception for auctions. And because it's an auction, we can't add some extra fee to it. It goes at whatever price it goes at. So auctions are the only thing on eBay that get favorable treatment. The rest are set at their same thing on COMC and eBay. It's 3 weeks. As we ramp things up, we're going to reduce that. But our goal is to keep parity between the rushed orders on both platforms. They're rushed or rushed orders, but you can't say, well, you don't charge an extra fee on eBay, so that's the same as the economy orders on COMC. Those are not the same. It's the rushed orders on COMC that are equivalent to the eBay orders.
Okay, I hope that was clear to people that were interested in that. So the next question that comes to my mind is, if the shipping is obviously a pain point for you, people receiving their cards, why wouldn't you, we've seen PSA just suspend, the majority of their service levels in an effort to, I think, reset and catch up. Why wouldn't you, and this is legit, why wouldn't you just turn off all the eBay sales for a bit so you could just focus on COMC? I mean, and even my perspective as a COMC seller, I'd be like, all right, I get that. I mean, eBay sales were sort of a new thing. Well, they're newish, maybe 3-4 years ago. Why not just turn off eBay orders to allow you to catch up, especially during these challenges of the building's supposed to come, it doesn't come, the new building is delayed a month, 50 people going to the road to the old building. Why not turn those off?
So the eBay sales, we don't have as much flexibility with. We have in order for us to do the business that we do on eBay, we have to maintain a certain volume. If we don't maintain that volume, then our eBay fees would go way up and we'd have to charge a lot more. So right now we have to keep a certain volume on eBay. And so that's why we haven't turned that off. Again, total transparency. It's because we have a required volume in order to keep reasonable fees so that you guys don't get charged an arm and a leg when we're listing on eBay.
Oh, okay. I like it. Simple and concise answer. All right. You mentioned that, for premium or express shipping that you charge a premium for that. In the event that the cards aren't getting to their destination in the time promised, any sort of rectification on those fees? What's your plan there to sort of make right by that?
Yeah. So my goal I don't know that we're going to have it in this round of updates, but we'll say by the end of the year, when I said we're going to have shipping back to normal, By then, I expect us to have the same type of guarantee for shipping as we do for processing, where if you don't get your order on time, we give you a refund. Right now, we're doing those ad hoc. So certain things that are very egregious, we issue refunds for. But I want to build that in. And right now, we just don't have a great way of estimating how long things are going to take us. So we don't offer a guarantee with shipping. It's a best effort. They're not guaranteed dates. And my goal is to get us to the point where we can stand behind and offer guaranteed shipping dates and expect that we're actually going to hit those.
Okay. Sticking on the eBay topic, one more question. So if you look at the COMC feedback on eBay, it's there's like over 1,200 negative feedbacks in the last 30 days. And when you listen to that in isolation, you think, oh my gosh, that's like eBay suicide sort of thing. Like how are you managing that? But I decided to shift my eyeballs up a little bit, and I realized at the same time, you've got over 32,000 positive. So it's about a 3% negative, which is still a horrible rate on eBay, let's face it. And I mean, we understand. So, you have to keep the volume up on eBay to keep the rates where they are to save your customers money. I understand that. Have you had discussions with eBay? Are they aware of your particular issues? Are they kind of looking at the 1,200 negatives this month? How does that all reconcile between you and eBay? And is it not possible to have a discussion with them to even say, hey, we're going through some extreme situations right now. Can we have our volume requirement lowered and still have our rates so we can actually satisfy both of our customers?
Yeah. So on the first note, we have been talking with eBay about our feedback and our delays in shipping. The negative feedback is directly related to what happened last month. So it takes a while before the negative feedback actually comes in. So you're seeing that feedback now, but it's like the mess ups that we made in February caused negative feedback in March. And so those, we have actually addressed those, and we don't expect April to have the same negative feedback that March had. And so we had conversations with eBay that all the different efforts that we're making to rectify these different things. I can revisit those ideas about maybe we reduce some of our listings. Some of it is like short of just completely turning off our account is actually the largest account of anybody on eBay. We have 5 million listings. So I can't just like quickly turn it off. It actually takes more than a month. If I just said like take 90% down, it would take weeks for us to actually pull 90% of the inventory down. It's not like the APIs are not designed for a company our scale. And so it's taken a lot of engineering to even get it to work at all. But right now, yeah, with 5 million listings on eBay, it's tricky. Like they have a switch that I could like turn the entire thing off. If you guys really want me to consider that, I guess it's an interesting conversation. I'm sure people, there might be a bunch of people here that are happy to offer that. I'm going to get other people with pitchforks as soon as I turn that off. So it's like, I can't keep everybody happy.
No.
But our goal, obviously, we are making serious changes to address all those different things and scale up our services to meet that demand. But it is a very valid point that we absolutely need to consider, like if we can't rectify this, to just turn something off.
Yeah. Okay. I've seen people make the comment that some of your competitors can already get their shipments out. I think I forget exactly who they've mentioned, but mentioned a couple of others. How do you respond to that when other, I even think I saw someone mention like Dave and Adams or something is able to ship all of their orders out. How do you respond to that?
No one ships as many single cards as we do. We're the largest seller on eBay. Any other seller that comes close uses eBay as their main platform, and eBay is actually a fraction of our business. So no one's at the scale that we're at. In fact, if you look at all the sales on eBay, the published listings on eBay, we do a quarter as many transactions as eBay does. So no one's at the scale we are. And Dave and Adams, others, like, they're shipping boxes. You can ship 1,000 cards in one box and you didn't have to do anything. Like, no one even comes close to us with singles. And even if they do, you go to companies like Burbank, they just grab one copy of 100 that they have. It's no big deal. We have to grab the exact copy that you ordered.
Right. Yeah.
Like, no one, we have the largest unique inventory of any category, and it's not just trading cards. Nobody on the planet has 100 million SKUs. We have 100 million SKUs. Everything is unique.
What about Amazon? What about Amazon?
Amazon, well, okay. Maybe Amazon I could be wrong there. Maybe Amazon has 100 million SKUs, but for reference, an Amazon fulfillment center only has 10 million SKUs in it. We have more SKUs in ours than any one Amazon fulfillment center. Maybe across all the Amazon fulfillment centers, they might approach it. Okay, one of the largest companies that has ever existed might approach the challenges that I was silly enough to try to solve. I brought on myself. Like, I was silly enough to think I wanted to keep track of everybody's cards uniquely. And that didn't scale 150% in 1 year.
Yeah.
That would have been hard any year. You guys would have felt growing pains. Even if I would have known we were going to grow by 150%, maybe I could have staffed for that. No one's ever had a pandemic. No one that's even existed has, like, you had to go back 100 years to have a pandemic. So we couldn't predict how to grow a company by 150% in a pandemic. Like, we have to, like, just roll with the punches that we're getting hit with. Like, this is what, I mean, there's absolutely things we need to do better and do differently. And I'm not, like, we have lots of improvement to make, and we're not stopping. We are making active improvement. But this, unfortunately, was more growth than we're
ready for.
We're really designed for.
Yeah. No, listen, I know I'm pushing you a little bit here, and I appreciate your candor. I appreciate your raw honesty, your transparency, and I appreciate your emotion. You know, I mean, I feel like you care. You're not just going. You're losing sleep. I have a feeling that you're losing some sleep over some things, and you know, some people will be happy to hear that. You know, I just hope that that you're keeping your mental health is fine, your physical health is fine, because obviously the company needs you to keep on finding ways to make it more efficient, to deal with your backlogs, and to be able to move forward. And just, you know, I've had several conversations about the industry as of late. And, you know, I believe that even with what PSA did, with what SGC has done in terms of, you know, either eliminating service levels, increasing service fees, I think that we're looking at a bit of a short-term pain for long-term gain. And again, it's not something that anybody predicted happening. You know, as you just said, even if you knew it was going to happen, you might have been able to prepare for it, but you're not even committing to that. Mm-hmm. So when it happens literally overnight last summer and your volume triples, that's, and then, you know, you're in between buildings, and you're bringing in new staff, and orders are getting mixed up, and orders are going out without accuracy because of inexperienced staff. Mm-hmm. I mean, these are all things that some people in the chat, and I haven't read it, but I just know what's going on. Some people in the chat have no sympathy for you. Let's just, that, right? Some people, they don't care what you're saying here tonight. They have no sympathy. They just want their cards. Other people, a little bit more open-minded, a little bit more understanding, maybe a little bit more sympathetic, maybe a little bit more, understanding of how the situation of the world that we're in right now. But several people just don't care. And that is what it is. I just want to thank you again for your raw emotion tonight and your candor and your transparency. Okay. And everybody out there, welcome to the show. I mean, this is just fun tonight, right? What an episode we have tonight. We have Tim Getsch, the CEO and founder of COMC, addressing all of us, addressing the hobby tonight, addressing the challenges and the issues that COMC has been facing, and really, what he's doing is pulling back the curtain and explaining what's been going on, because it's so easy for us as hobbyists and collectors and business people to jump to conclusions about what they could be doing or aren't doing or should be doing. And until you get yourself behind or within those, not 4 walls, but many walls, do you actually have an idea of what's truly going on and what the constraints, challenges are that they're going through? So I hope that that being, the audience of Sports Cards Live, that some of you are hearing what he's saying and not just typing your complaints into the chat. If you're doing that, that's fine too, but maybe I'll read them tomorrow. Okay, let's keep on going with a few more questions for you, Tim. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Couple specifics. So I sold a few cards on the platform, I don't know, several months ago. They sold on eBay. I've moved them to eBay. They sold on eBay, and I haven't been paid for them, and I can't access those cards. They're kind of stuck in limbo. What's the story with those? When will those cards be in my portfolio so that I can actually resell them, or what's going on with cards? And I know I must not be the only person in this predicament.
There's definitely some cards that can get locked temporarily while someone is committed to buying them on eBay, and then they fail to purchase. And then we have someone that goes through and looks at anything that's been locked for a long period of time and unlocks it. So if you still have something in your account that's been locked for a long time, you can ask customer service. Customer service, I feel really bad. They're swamped because their shipping is so far behind. So it's going to take probably realistically more than a week for them to get to your request, but they can unlock the item and get it back in your account. Normally, we get to those on a regular basis, but I imagine the person that would normally do that is answering customer requests. But I'll go revisit that and bring that to the customer service team so they can try to proactively clean those out. Normally you would just ask customer service and they take care of it quickly, but they're swamped right now.
I'm sure they are, and that's a nice segue into customer service, because I've seen a lot of, and I can see you already you have some pain in this area, but let's dive a little bit deeper into this. Okay, so I've seen many people post comments that they have to turn to Twitter to try and get in touch with COMC, emails going unresponded to for months on end, sort of thing, not just a week, but for months. What's going on there? Why is customer service so backed up? And is that because I would think that's something that could be handled somewhat remotely, but that's an assumption I'm making. I don't know for sure. So yeah. What are the real, if you dig deep, what are the issues of customer service and why are they so far behind?
So if an issue hasn't been addressed for months, it's because it fell through the cracks. That's not normal for issues to take that long. There was an issue that we did recently uncover that was causing certain types of requests to not really show up prominently in a customer service member's queue. And so we've addressed those to make sure that they actually see them. They see that these came in. There was basically a scenario where something could just kind of get lost. So there were some issues that were literally getting lost and weren't getting any attention. The queue right now is so big that I believe it takes about a week for us to get to things. So right now it's taking about a week for a typical just ordinary request. I think there's certain things they're preemptively taking care of, like an address change request, to make sure that we get to those, so that we send things to the right customers or the right address. And there's certain things that can bump something up in the queue. We do actually have most of our customer service agents working remotely. We just, in the past week, 2 weeks, in the past 2 weeks, brought 10 new members into our customer service team. So they're now close to 20 people in the customer service team. And the vast majority of them work remotely all over the US and Canada, all different time zones, all over the place. So we are actively doing that. And that is for sure one of the things that doesn't have to be here in the Seattle area. So we have been training people to do that. It takes time for them to come up to speed. So those, we'll see how quickly they can help us get through the backlog. And the biggest thing is our shipping needs to get caught up on the due dates that we tell customers. And that every time we miss a due date, it's a customer service request. And we've missed so many due dates that they just can't keep up with it. So the combination of us hiring a ton of people and getting caught up in shipping will drastically change our customer service experience.
What would you want to say tonight to people whose customer service request did fall through the cracks, and what should they do now to kind of restart the process? Because that's gonna irk them, you know.
Well, if you send a customer service request and it doesn't get a response in a week, send it again. Absolutely. There have been cases where someone misinterprets a request and maybe thinks that they've resolved a ticket and they miss something. And so if you're not getting a response, send it again. Don't just sit and wait. And then a lot of people have reached out to me directly and had legitimate complaints about, hey, I sent this request and we didn't get a response. And actually in one of those cases, that's how we tracked down how things were getting missed. So that's actually helpful. If you send a request to customer service and you're not getting a response, and you send another request and you're not getting a response, let me know and I'll go find out why that's not getting to their attention. They have, because the team is so large now, they have different rules that try to route things to certain team members. And there was this loophole that was causing something to basically get lost. And so we did fix that particular issue. But unfortunately right now, it is taking about a week to get through a typical request.
With the new facility, are you going to be building and growing that customer service team?
Yeah, we're actually going to be hiring a lot more people, even locally, that do customer service, so that as we get caught up on both shipping and customer service, we can then repurpose those people to help out with different areas of the company. But I expect once shipping is caught up, we're going to have a very large customer service team. So we're going to be able to provide stellar customer service. Like, we're going to be looking for things to do. We're going to be like hunting for people commenting on social media or different forums, because like we've addressed everything that's in our queues. So we do expect that that's going to be significantly different. And like I said, shipping, I expect by the end of the year, we're actually standing behind our shipping with a guarantee. When we're doing that, we're not going to be having a very large number of orders missing deadlines. We're not going to have all the customer service complaints. I'm going to have 20 people in customer service. So we're going to be able to provide the most amazing customer service of anybody in the industry.
Okay, that's a big, that's
easy to get there. Like, ask me around Christmas time how customer service is, and hold me to that.
Well, let's schedule you to come back to the show. Say that's perfect. I think you're on about. Well, you were on with me 10 or 11 months ago. Let's schedule you for December. Let's come back and let's invite everyone back who's watching right now, and let's see where you're at then. And I mean, I really want to see you being there where you're hoping to get to. Hopefully the new building works out and you get your internet and you get your security and everything in place. Hopefully CS is caught up, shipping is caught up, the new automation is up and running, with very little downtime, if any. Those will all be great signs. So I'll hold you to it, but I'll also hold you to coming back so we can talk about it again and grill you if you're not there.
Yeah, do it. Absolutely.
Okay, let's go to another question I have. This is a bit of I'm going to call it a bit more of a fun question, but it might not be for you because I know that you're the brains behind the systems and the coding. Mm-hmm. I've seen people make the comment that the website is junky. They don't like the looks of it. They think that it's not stable. I've actually never had issues with the stability of the website myself, and I've been on there for almost 9 years, I guess. But I'm not always on there, and I'm not a huge user. What do you say to that? Like, does that hurt your feelings? Do you recognize it? Do you have plans? Once you can focus time on the website, is that on your list of things to get to down the road? Speak to that, please.
Yeah, no, you're not hurting my feelings. I actually get a text every time the website has issues. And I'm surprised you haven't run into issues because every day, one or two of our instances of our web server falls over. And so for a couple minutes, people have really slow requests. So right now, the site is not handling the traffic that we're getting. And we run the site on 8 different web front ends. Again, transparency here. 8 different web servers are running the website. And if you're unlucky, you might be on one that's not giving a fast response. You might then bring out your phone, and your phone is super fast because it happened to get a different web server. Oh. So usually it takes a couple minutes for that server to detect that it's failed and then restart itself. It's a known issue. We are going to do some work on that, but the long-term plan is to completely replace the website. We've started building a beta. We actually had one from a year ago that we were going to put efforts into, and then we've refocused all of our efforts to other higher priority things. Okay. So the plan is to do a complete rewrite of the website using some new technologies.
Once it's a better use of your personal resources and others. Okay, let's move on from there. The app, there's been talk in the past that there was an app coming. There's no app yet, although Safari, the website on Safari has always worked for me. But anyway, I think people want more of a native app.
Yep.
Is it the same answer? We're going to get to it once we get through these current challenges, or is it something different?
So the whole point of a new app and a new website is to give people a better experience so that ultimately you do more business. Right now, we can't handle the business that we have. We need to solve some of our other problems before we dedicate to something that's going to drive more business to us. So we know that these opportunities, we provide a better website, a mobile app, we're going to see a 50% growth. What we don't want more. We can't. You guys were just telling me I should turn things off.
Yeah.
So we're not. That's why that project has fallen behind.
No, we
have not put efforts into the mobile app because we can't. You wanted me to turn things off. That is something we turned off.
I commend you. I commend you for moving that down the priority list. That's a no-brainer. So good. Yeah. Good decision there. Okay, I just want to say to everybody watching, we are going to open it up to some questions and answers very soon. But I want to make it really clear that we're not going to be taking questions that have already been addressed. So try to keep it to something that hasn't been discussed. If you came on to the show late, I may just not take the question or comment, and I encourage you to go back and watch from the beginning. This has been very informational, very instructive. Tim has really explained just about everything I think he can that's gone on at COMC. And I don't think we owe him a thanks for talking to us, but I still want to thank him for his time and for facing the fire. I mean, I warned you, Tim, this wasn't going to be easy, and I wasn't going to go, I wasn't going to go totally easy on you tonight. And I don't think I have. I hope I have, and I hope I've done right by the hobby tonight. You can let me know later if I have, or if you think I didn't do a great job tonight, let me know that too. I'll try to do better next time. I have one more question. All these issues that you've had, all these process issues, the transition, the COVID issues, the facilities issue, the staffing issue. Have you ever considered, bringing in a consultant, an expert to come and help you with any of these things? Have you done this? And while I ask the question, I think to myself, does anybody else know this business better than you? So are you that consultant? Would that even be an option for you? And have you considered it or done it?
So one of the things that is new to us, I mentioned financially, we're in a different place than we have been in the past. We're now in a place where we're actually bringing on executives that have experience in the industry, or not necessarily our industry, but in maybe they've worked in a factory that has a bunch of automation. People that have, so in the past, we would hire people generally entry level, and we give them opportunities to get promoted. So this is the first time we're bringing people on that have more seniority, that have experience at other places. And so we've already started hiring people that come with experience. And then there's definitely opportunities for us to learn from others. And there's either consultants or peer mentoring groups that we're evaluating right now. I have done some of that in the past with other CEO groups or specifically counseling. So we are definitely open to that. And the thing that we've done that's tangible is there's a number of higher level, director level positions that we have opened up and brought people in, even people that have come across the country to work for us.
Okay. No, that I'm satisfied with that. Okay. So I'm reviewing my notes right now. I think I've touched on everything that I had on there to touch on. I'm going to take a second to just let everybody know, I've been streaming on the bottom of the ticker here, the upcoming guests for the show next Saturday, Ken Golden from Golden Auctions. The Saturday after that, Eric Doty, the CEO of Loop. And then the Saturday after that, we have the CEO of Otis, Michael Janipercorn, coming to join me on the show. So check out those episodes. If any of you guys are new, and I know there's lots of new people tonight, if you've enjoyed the show, thank you for joining. If you want to follow me or the show on any of the socials, they're all on the ticker right now. Check them out. Shout out to the people on Clubhouse. That's been a really fun social media platform to join on lately. Shout out all of the all the podcast listeners and all the subscribers to the channel who've been with me now for it's a year now that we've been going, just shy of a year, but it was April last year. So thanks everybody who's been there from the beginning or early on. Appreciate all of you. Going to continue to bring you the best guests in hobby content. Okay. I also want to shout out a great friend of the show, the Big Three Hockey on Instagram. Give them a follow. All right, Tim, what do you think? Are we ready to go to some Q&A? We're right on schedule. Okay, I'm gonna turn on the comments. I'm gonna go to the comments. I'm going to say, okay, so everybody out there, and maybe you don't have any more questions or comments, but if you do, put them in the comments right now. I'm not looking back in time. We're only looking forward. I'm going to urge you to keep it positive, keep it constructive. All right. And if they come pouring in, I'm going to miss some. So please don't be offended if I don't see your comment. But again, let's be polite. Let's be respectful. Tim is putting himself out there for us all tonight to speak to directly. And he's being completely transparent and open with us. And I just think we can appreciate all of that. So the first question I see comes from Peter Chow. He says, what is the oldest order In your regular queue, I ordered in November for March. If I had any clue that you wouldn't hit the mark, I would have reevaluated.
I think the economy orders, obviously this was an economy order that was placed. We were doing, I'd have to double check this, but it's either September or October orders. And with the move, we had to pause economy orders. And so right now we're focused just on the rushed orders, and I'm hoping that the new machine is going to drastically speed things up, and then we're going to be able to get more of the economy orders out. But he's right on the cusp, Peter. Unfortunately, you're like, I'd have to go double check to see if we've gotten to November yet. And actually, on that note, marketing actually just asked for us to publish this data so that people can see where we are in the queue. So expect that in the near future, we're going to actually show so that you can see kind of how close you are to getting out.
Okay, so let's reevaluate that one when you come back in December, November, December next year.
For sure by December, this is probably not even an issue by December, but I'm thinking within probably a matter of weeks, there will be either a blog page or something on the COMC website that lets you see for economy orders what the oldest orders are. So you can see like, okay, my order is getting close to getting shipped out.
All right, let's move on. Next question from 90s B-ball cards. My buddy Jake says, for a long time, top loaders have been 25 cents to add to a card. Now there's a shortage and you guys aren't offering them. Have you thought of buying them at bulk for 30 cents and charging 50 cents?
So we have actually been buying them at 30 cents. We chose not to charge 50 cents and instead just to turn off the feature, really to encourage people that if you want a top loader on your item, wait a couple months to place your order. We are going to put top loaders on expensive items. So even if you don't pay the upgrade, we will use them for certain expensive items. But right now the message is wait until the manufacturers make more top loaders. Our concern is even at 50 cents, we may not be able to honor that because there's just not enough top loaders. We have well more than 100,000 top loaders that are already spoken for, and we've purchased enough top loaders at 30 cents to honor those. But we're concerned that even at 50 cents, people are going to outbuy what's on the market. So we're encouraging people to just hold off placing those orders until manufacturers make more top loaders.
All right, so Tim, I'm going to let you know that the comments are flying in right now. So let's keep the answers a lot quicker if you can. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Here's a question from Gareth. What happens if COMC or any company like them goes bankrupt if the cards get lost as assets?
Our mission is to make sure that everybody gets taken care of. So if we ever had to go bankrupt, we would have some form of plan to get everybody their items back. We don't own any of the items. So fortunately, we're nowhere near bankruptcy. So that's not really
even a concern. Hockey. How long does it take for cards to move from the Canadian facility to the American facility?
When things are running smoothly, every week we make a trip up to Canada. I believe recently we've skipped a week here and there. So sometimes it takes 2 weeks, but generally when things are running smoothly, it's every week.
Okay, Chris Carter, I've paid $70,000 in the last year. Why do you charge me 50 cents per card? Where is the value for higher volume regular customers?
I mean, I wish I could charge less, but that's just going to flood us with more work that we don't have the capacity for right now. So if you're not seeing value at 50 cents, then hopefully in the future we can scale our service and charge a cheaper service. But right now that's we're getting more submissions at 50 cents than we got a year ago at 25 or 30 cents, whatever we were at. Yeah.
Okay. How many cards or orders do you ship every day? From JW Fulcher.
We are shipping this past week. We shipped around 50,000 cards, and that was probably 5,000 orders.
Dunkachino, why isn't there an autograph filter on COMC? A simple auto form filter would save us all hours of sifting through sticker auto junk to find on-card ones. Please.
Okay, so in order for us to do an on-card filter, we would have to do a new COMC challenge. I'm not opposed to this. I actually like doing something like this where we ask customers to look at an autograph and tell us whether it's on card or not. We've done something like this in the past. I'm open to it, but it's going to take time. Yeah.
Okay. Sanderson to Orr says, Tim, in your best estimate, when do you realistically see getting caught up? Thank you for doing this.
End of the year.
Awesome. Okay. Jim Levitt, why didn't you have conversations to shut down eBay 3 months ago when you could have predicted this unsubstantiated? Okay, we're going to skip that one because we already addressed it. Unless you want to, Tim.
No, my only point, 3 months ago, we didn't know that we were going to see 50% growth. I guess 3 months ago was the beginning of January. So, okay, maybe we should have had that conversation in more detail back then.
Okay. Let me see here. I just flashed a question on the by accident, but I'm certainly not going to address that one tonight. But it's never mind. I'm not going to get into that. Let me see. Here, Simon C. Tim is obviously the founding force behind COMC. Does Tim think COMC is too reliant on Tim? Is there a contingency plan in place? That's a great question.
That's an excellent question, and that we actually are working with a consulting firm right now to build up a tech team that makes the company less dependent on me. That's literally their mission. We're actively interviewing people right now for a variety of different tech-related positions, and we have one person that's already started, and then we have another team that's offshore that is coming up to speed as well. We're probably going to have 5 or so people on the tech side that help replace any dependency on me by the end of the year.
Awesome. Okay. Nathan Lau, when do you think the cards stored remotely will get to Redmond, Washington?
Cards stored remotely, in the past, there were a lot of things that were from deans. If you paid any attention, you may have noticed deans are no longer listed on COMC. That is one of those things that we turned off. You guys asked about things that we could do to turn off and get caught up. We turned off all the integration with deans. So now the only things, there's 2 things that are going to be remote, stuff that's up in Canada. And we also consider things as remote as long as it's not in the warehouse that we're going to ship out of. And so there are things that we're actively processing and it's not ready to be shipped yet. And so those usually take a few days to a week to get assigned to the appropriate location. If you didn't consign your item up in Canada and it's taking longer than a week, then something is messed up and you should just reach out to us and we can make sure it is assigned to the correct location.
Okay. 23 Aaronus, your question was already discussed. Feel free to rewind and find when we talked about that. Cardboard Culture, Amit says, any thoughts on creating more intelligent dashboards for sellers to use to evaluate data points? I do realize it's low priority at the moment.
Yeah, this would be part of a new website that we'd build. It's not our highest priority, as you already know. So yeah, we absolutely could do this, but we'll wait until we build a new website.
Bowman 1951, we sort of touched on it, but I'll do it again. Will you be reimbursing rushed shipping fees for those that paid for the service and never got it?
If you did not, there are rushed orders that totally missed the deadline, and either I'll figure out a way to do a bulk refund, or you can ask customer service for a refund. Any rushed shipping we should honor.
Okay. Peter Chow, I have a redemption card that expires in 4 months. How do I ensure I get it before expiry so I can enter the code?
With something like that, I would put in a customer service request to just have them grab the card and scratch the code and give you the code directly. That's probably the best way to get a hold of it. Otherwise, you're going to have to use a rush shipping service, which that might be an even better option. So it's only going to cost like a little bit extra.
All right, Kenny from Pastime, what sales platforms and services are you looking to scale back to accelerate the fulfillment side of the equation?
So we already turned off Dean's, and we're right now simplifying some of our services. You're going to actually notice that when we make some updates here in the very near future. That's, I mentioned what I'm working on this weekend. There's a bunch of services that we offer that I'll just tell you right now. For example, all the raw card review, getting things, there's a variety of different options that you can like submit for us to reprocess those items. We're going to simplify that into one option. So that's just a hint. Like those services, we're just not going to offer. They're too time consuming, and we have to spend our time doing other things. So yeah, that's an example. We're trying to simplify our services. In fact, our shipping options, we're going to end up with only 3. In Canada, there might be a couple extra options, but typically we're just going to have 3 shipping options. Right now, we have like 5 different shipping options. So we're going to focus on just a few. So across the board, we're looking for just trimming down and offering things that we can stand behind.
Greg Nova says, hey all, Jeremy, hope you're well. Hi, Greg. It's nice to have a little break here and all this. So thank you for the comment, Greg. Great to see you in the chat. Next up, Nathan Lau, do you plan to partner with any more companies like you do with Blowout?
Yeah, we have talked about doing that. Unfortunately, again, all those talks stopped when everything scaled up, and we're focused on just trying to get caught up with our current services. So we were in talks with some other companies. I mean, for example, we were going to do integration with PSA. Now PSA doesn't really have any services that they're offering. So yeah, we'll work on that maybe next year, to be honest. It's probably not going to happen this year.
Can you change the watermark to have it not on the serial number of the card? It's often blocking it. That's something I've noticed as well, because I'm a guy that likes to know what serial number I might be buying. It's a tough one, huh?
Because the serial number could be in any position. We could do a service where we know where a certain set places their serial number, and then say, okay, for this set, move the watermark. So I'll just it'll take some work. Maybe next year when we have more developers, I can have them do one of those projects, but it's probably not going to happen this year. It's possible.
Okay, I'm looking for the next question that we're going to address here. There's a few questions I'm not going to address, guys, just because we already discussed it tonight. And I see a bunch of repeats. Nathan, I appreciate your persistence, but maybe just twice if you can on your questions. Let me see. What's next for us, Tim? Bowman 1951, how are you not hitting eBay benchmarks when you probably sold more cards in one quarter than the entire last year?
So the option is to turn off eBay. That's what we were discussing. And we'd go down to 0. So it's hard to like choose how much volume we get on eBay. It's like on or it's off. There is some room that we could discuss some of this, but in general, we hadn't really been thinking about it. And our benchmarks are based on last year's performance, and last year actually had a lot of sales. If you compare to the year before that, it would be a little bit different.
Okay. Aaron Tom says, when will there not be an issue with top loaders, at least from the point of view of COMC?
This summer. We are actually buying a year's worth of all of our supplies. Now that we have room to store everything, once we stock up on all our supplies, this will never be a problem again.
Gerald R says, when you find cards that are altered, etc., do you destroy them or ship them back to the owner?
We require the owner to take possession of the item or send it off to get destroyed, but we don't. We let them choose. Altered cards are tricky. Someone could send it off to someone else. It's just our opinion that it's been altered. Yeah.
Okay. Josh DePenbrock says, how are the stored cards properly secured? These cards are worth millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm. There's a variety of different ways that we're storing cards depending on their value. Some cards are, I guess here, I'm going to give you guys another, for those of you who stayed to the end, you get to learn some stuff that we don't normally talk about.
More people watching now than at any point tonight.
All right. So go look at our patents. You can see how we actually store some of our cards. I'm going to give you that clue. That's how we store the vast majority of our cards. If cards are really very valuable, they're often graded. Those are stored often in a safe or some kind of a vault. But yeah, we use a variety of different techniques depending on the value of the inventory.
Okay. Chris Carter, why can't you improve the make offer system? A tab showing all open offers is needed, as I have multiple each day, and it's a gong show the way you show it in store credit history.
I love the request. When we redo the website, we'll consider improving that. Yeah.
Okay. Stefan Loeffler, any plans to pare down the filter menu? Having to select 2000, 2010 tops can be a pain when each page is a page reload. Also,
that one again. When we do the website redesign, we're going to use a different technology that makes it easier for us to cache data differently than we do today. So that's going to have to come with the new website redesign.
Okay, appreciate that one. Gerald R, has COMC considered selling any wax?
We have talked about it. Now that we have these multi-football field size warehouses, we are open to that, but we're not going to do that until we can guarantee people get a good service. Because like you guys have all pointed out, we need to pare back our services, not add more. So we got to make sure that we're doing a good job, and then we'll consider consigning wax.
Okay, here's one that we've touched on, but we're gonna let you touch on it again. Dan wants to know, PSA halted production to catch up. Why not consider doing the same? And I know this is a long answer, Tim, but try and be succinct if you can.
So halting production, there's two different scenarios for us. PSA, everything gets submitted and then shipped out. With us, different people submit, then people shipping out, right? So you've got consigners, so we could potentially turn that off. We've got people shipping. I'm pretty sure you guys would have revolt if we turned off the ability to ship cards. So we can't really turn off the ability to ship cards. And on the processing side, we are going to make some effort to like slow down the volume of stuff getting submitted. Just like PSA, they didn't really turn everything off. They just, like, you can still submit. You just got to pay a ton. We're not going to go that extreme, but we're going to give people more realistic expectations while we focus on more shipping.
Okay. TD Baseball, what happens to all the eBay orders that are being refunded? Will sellers see these cards returned to their account?
If an eBay order is refunded because we didn't ship it out on time, then we are consuming that loss. We're not going to return those items to your account. If we did ship it on time and they got it and then they changed their mind, eBay's gotten way stricter with the return policy. So you shouldn't see nearly as many eBay returns as we had in the past. But if it's our fault that we didn't ship it on time, then we're eating those.
Okay. Bill Rogan, at what point can I decide I'm not willing to wait anymore and get my money back? I'd prefer not to go this route, but I'm not waiting till the end of the year.
It depends what if you're trying to get a card shipped, then, I mean, you can just reach out to us if we're not shipping on time and we'll refund the cost of shipping. I guess there's a few different scenarios here. I'm not sure which scenario.
That's okay. We can pass on it. Bill, if you want to re-clarify or ask a more specific question, please do. Brent Criswell says, "Hi, Tim. What do you do with all your free time lately?" I think it's a nice question, Brent.
I'm here with you.
Yeah, you're here with me, exactly. Talking about hobby. This is all your free time. That and sleep. Okay. Scott Fiska says, "I just want to say I know how difficult it must have been to scale up to meet this insane demand. The grading companies had to make difficult decisions, and in general, I think COMC is doing the best they can." That's a nice comment. Thank you, Scott Fiskus. Jim Levitt says, "So if you turned off eBay, how much sooner could you write the ship? Would it still be the end of the year?"
To be honest, I think the automation and so again, a number for transparency, there's more than 1 million cards that people have requested to have shipped. Even if we turn off eBay is only giving us around 50,000, not even that. I'd have to go look up exactly how many, or between all of our rushed orders a week is about 50,000 cards. And there's 1 million in our backlog from all the economy and everything else. So in order for us to solve this, we need to scale the whole thing. It's not just turning off eBay would help a little bit, but the bigger thing is our ability now that we're in the new building to hire new people and the new automation, getting people trained on using the new automation and streamlining that. We're probably going to be able to ship. I mentioned we shipped 50,000 this past week. Within 2 months, our goal is to get over 200,000. So we should be able to 4x in the next 2 months in shipping. Okay. And so that's what's going to get us over the hump and able to provide better service, is just scaling the whole service. Like turning eBay off is a very temporary thing. It won't really make a huge difference.
Rounding the Corners wants to know, will you ever go to a model where offers can be placed in a pool where the owners of those cards can then grab a sale?
I like that.
I love that idea.
I like that a lot, actually. We have actually talked about something along these lines. This is basically like having a want list and then putting a price tag on it. It's, if you're familiar with the stock market, it's a bid.
Yeah.
So you're saying like, hey, if someone's willing to meet this bid, like come grab it.
Come fill it. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's something to put on the list. That's a great idea. Yeah. Thanks for the suggestion. Rounding the Corners with Darren Hogum. Chubby says, or Chubby Hubby says, when are you going to accept HGA and CSG cards? My Gretzky and Lemieux would be happy to come to COMC.
Yeah. I'm not, HGA is, they're new.
Yeah. These are both the new grading companies.
CSG, they did comics before, yes. Right? We actually support them now.
Okay.
CSG is supported now. I don't know enough about HGA, but I imagine if they have a good reputation, we'll add support for them pretty quickly.
Okay. Charles wants to know, there were issues with wrong cards being shipped from Upper Deck EPAC portfolios. Persons received different cards from what they requested, sometimes better cards. What's being done to fix those issues?
Yeah, so this is related to the thing that I talked about at the beginning, where some orders got shuffled, and we didn't catch all of those in time. Like the ones that you guys are knowing about are the orders that got shipped. The ones that we like put a break on so that we could fix them up aren't seeing this. Typically, now every order all the cards are going to have a barcode, and so that gives us a chance to confirm that the order has the exact right items. But because some orders got mixed up, that's why that happened. So we're, that was one of the growing pains. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go for about 10 more minutes. Tim, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to take a 10-minute break, and then we're going to come back with for the After Hours show on the same YouTube channel. My guest is going to be Milan, also known as @Kobe East Coast on Instagram. But let's keep on going here for tonight, and then we're going to let you go, Tim. Okay, Gerald R., when will there be a way to store credit history so I can see how much I've spent on shipping or annual fees? With the new website?
Actually, if you're familiar with Excel, you can export it to Excel, and then you can filter Excel. Other than that, it's going to have to wait till a website redesign.
That's what I do, Gerald R. You can probably Google how to do that. It's pretty simple. It takes me about 3 minutes when I want to see it. Dean Parsons, how are international shipment values declared? I've had large value shipments not attract customs charges and others fully taxed. Is that just luck?
It depends on which country you're in. If you're in Canada and you use one of our shipping options that has the duties charged up front, that's why you're not having any customs issues, because we pay them as we cross the border. If you have the order shipped directly to you via like a USPS express mail package, then we declare the value, and it's up to the country to determine whether they want to charge customs for it. So if you're outside of Canada, then everything has the same issue, because we don't collect customs for anything. So it all depends on the rules of the country that we're shipping to. If you're in Canada, I highly recommend having us prepay the duties so that you don't have to worry about anything getting hung up.
Fresh Bread Sports Card says every business has faced issues in the past year. Some have sunk and some have righted their path. Hopefully COMC rights its path, as they are one of the companies that have made the hobby as strong as it is today. So I couldn't find the second comment there. Thank you for that, Fresh Bread. Okay, let me see here. There's still, I don't know, probably 50 comments ahead of us. I'm just going to try and pick out what I feel are the best questions. So give me a second here, everybody. A lot of them we've already talked about. So I recommend you going back and listening from the beginning. And you can go back on YouTube, listen to this in 1.5, 1.75, even 2 times the speed. It won't take nearly as long as it does sitting with us live, but happy to have you here as well. Rod Booth says, why can't we search our own inventory for PSA graded or BGS graded cards? If I type it in, nothing comes up.
That has to do with the way we're structuring the search. That is probably something I could fix. I'll take that one back. I'm surprised that simply searching PSA in your inventory manager doesn't work, but that definitely we could fix. That doesn't require a website redesign. So I'm going to write a note on that. That's something we could look into now.
Okay, I'll let you do that, and I'll find our next question here. All right, I haven't found our next question yet. I'm hoping I do here soon. If not, we're going to let you go. Let's see. Andrew Oliver says, are cards physically moved, handled each time they are sold, or do they only get handled when packaged for shipment? In other words, do cards require handling each time they are flipped over and over again?
No, we don't move the cards every time they're sold, but when you pay the upgrade fee, if you're buying a card for say $50 and then you charge $250 for it, we charge an upgrade fee. We may trigger a move at that point. I mentioned we store inventory in different places depending on the value, and so there are some things that will trigger a notification to us that we need to move something to a different, more secure part of our storage.
Okay, thank you. Darren, you are welcome. I'm glad I got your name right. Let me see. Tiger Jordan says, love COMC. Tim, to clarify, is COMC canceling some eBay orders? I won 7 eBay COMC auctions from January that I absolutely want to receive. Please confirm. Thank you.
We are not canceling any eBay orders. We are going to honor them. It's only if people chose to cancel their order because we didn't ship it fast enough. If that happens, then we'll honor the request of the buyer to cancel the order, and we will consume the items so that you don't have to, as a seller, get hit with a return.
Okay. And where I had one right here, PSA Slab Guy says, without more drastic measures, I'd put the odds they are caught up by December at about 0. So this guy, so I'm guessing PSA Slab Guy is an odds maker in Vegas. He has experience with this. What do you want to say to a comment like this, Tim?
Well, I think he's absolutely correct. It will take drastic measures, but some of those drastic measures are not necessarily things that you guys see. For example, spending $1 million on automation is a drastic measure. Hiring 150 people is a drastic measure. We likely will have more than 400 employees at COMC by December. That's a drastic measure. We're going to likely have half of the services that we offer today removed. If you look across all the different op streams, probably half of them are gone. That's a drastic measure. You guys have pitched the idea of turning off eBay, and I'll more seriously consider maybe we put it on vacation mode if other things don't pan out. But I do expect, let's see where we are. If your odds are that low, then you probably are willing to take a bet on that. I think I'd take those odds.
All right. Yeah, there you go. I like it. Put your money where your mouth is, right? Okay, guys, we are at the end of the comments. I think that's pretty good. We are right at the 2 hour and 2 minute mark here, Tim. So right on schedule. I'm pretty happy about that. We got over 200 people watching right now. Rounding the corners, want to say great show as always. Thank you so much, Darren. Greatly appreciate that. And I'm not going to try to say your name again because I don't know how I said it the first time. But and I want to thank Rich Klein. Rich Klein is a hobby stalwart. The loquacious Rich Klein, one of my co-hosts on Hobby Hotline, where we were this morning talking about everything going on in grading. Check out Hobby Hotline on YouTube, everybody. What a great episode this has been. But I want to thank Rich for kind of jumping in on the comments. I saw you there, Rich. Thank you for helping address many of the viewers' comments and questions. Everybody else, I want to thank you all for joining tonight. I want to thank you, Tim, for coming here, taking it, and just being really authentic in your answers. I really feel you were, and I think you know. I don't want to say that we owe you a big thank you because I know people will not like that, but I certainly thank you for joining me tonight. I'm grateful for it. I know it's not easy, but it is what it is. Roddy Booth says, great show. Thanks, Jeremy and Tim, for facing the question. Scott Fiskus says, thanks for addressing the audience. Well, Joe Karub says, what a loser. That's great, Joe. Thank you. Or sorry, John Karub. Well, okay, I'm gonna take my buddy Tim's advice and take the high road. All right. Rich appreciates all the comments. We're gonna go through a few more comments right now here. Fresh Bread says Jeremy Lee, Canada's Oprah. I take that as a compliment, Fresh Bread. Thank you very much. Victor from the All Time Greats blog. Check out his channel. He actually is a what I call the rookie card theorist, and really likes what you've done with the RY tag, Tim, as do I. So thank you for joining us tonight, Victor. Gerald R. says, thanks, Tim. Nice to put a face to a non-existent email. Thank you, Rage. I greatly appreciate it. Andrew Oliver says, great show, Jeremy. And thank you, Tim, for coming on the show. Very informative. I've enjoyed COMC even more during the pandemic. Yannick, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Great to have you. Brent Criswell says, I appreciate you taking the heat, Tim. Not easy to do. I think that's an astute comment. Thank you, Brent Criswell. A few more comments. My buddy Joe Perot. Thanks, everyone. 189 strong. Smash that like button. Yeah, guys, hit the like button for me tonight. If you liked the video, hit it. If you didn't like it, still hit the thumbs up the thumbs up button. Even hit the thumbs down button. At least I know you were here, right? That's still pretty cool. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see Tim come back later on in the year. And we have Ken Golden coming on next week. I'm going to throw up right now for you all the upcoming episodes over the next 3 Saturdays in a row. We're still going strong. Check those out. Ken Golden, April 3rd or April 10th. from Golden Auctions. We've got Eric Doty, the CEO of Loop. We've then, that's on April 17th. Sorry, that's April 10th. Oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind right now. I must have mistyped this thing. Okay, April 10th is Ken. April 17th is Eric Doty. Check out those episodes, everybody. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, please, you can join our Facebook group for Sports Cards Live. It is called Sports Cards Live. If you're on Clubhouse, look forward to chatting with you on there. Give my boys at the Big Three Sports Cards a follow on Instagram at the Big Three Hockey. Final comments. Mr. DeWeedy says, all I heard was hot air from both, so he wasn't listening, but thank you for commenting. And at least you watched, Mr. DeWeedy. I appreciate that very much. Jordan Hudson says, that was a pretty badass show. Thank you, Jordan. Gerald says, in closing, bring on Black Friday sales. Darren says, thanks, COMC, for stoking the fire of my return to cards. Peter Chow says, thank you for being brave enough to face the masses, Tim. I am not satisfied with the responses, but still hope COMC comes out of this. I love your base business. Lots, big lots, cheap shipping. Okay, I think we're just going to end it right up there. Thanks, everybody. Tim, final comments from you. Anything you want to say at the end? And we're going to end this, and then come join me back here, guys, in 10 minutes. We're going to have a nice, a passionate collector on. His name is Milan. He is Kobe East Coast on Instagram, and we're just going to talk about cards, and it's going to be a little bit more relaxing. Tim, final words, and then
thank you, everybody, for listening, and thank you for letting me share what's been going on here. Definitely, you should take advantage of flipping cards on COMC. That is something that works great. There's 25 million cards there. Absolutely. We know you're feeling the pain with shipping right now, and consignments may take longer, but enjoy flipping to your heart's content, and we will improve our services. And I look forward to being back here in December, and you guys can hold me to it.
All right, Tim. Thanks so much, everybody. Thank you for joining. Check out the show next Saturday with Ken Golden, and I will be back, as I said, in about 7.5 minutes for an episode of After Hours on the same YouTube channel. Thank you, everybody. If we don't see you later tonight, have a great week.